it's me again, Brittany, and I'm here today to do a book haul. I know it's been a million years since my last book haul, and I have quite a few books to show you. There's 23 books. So not like my largest haul, but definitely not a small haul. So let's sort of dive right in. I can't wait to talk about these. I haven't read most of these, so don't expect tons of explanations, but I am going to link them all down below, so knock yourself out with that. The first few books that I have here I actually got from Book Outlet like a while ago. I'm not really sure if they're still on there, but you are more than welcome to check because discounted books are fantastic. So yeah. The first one is going to be The Chaos of Standing Still by Jessica Brody. I actually was very hesitant to pick this one up, to actually buy it, because I know that it's a sad contemporary story, and that's actually kind of what ended up convincing me, but I'm not normally the biggest contemporary fan, as you guys know, so I was hesitant. But I know it's about these two people that are stuck in an airport, and this girl loses her phone, or their phones get switched. She's really terrified about it because on her phone is a voicemail from her best friend, which she has never listened to ever since her best friend died. So obviously she wants to get her phone back, and I think it's just a story about discovering yourself and grieving and dealing with pain and moving on and things like that. So yeah. The next book I have here is actually one that I'm very excited about, and it's Night of Cake and Puppets. Night of Cake and Puppets by Laini Taylor. This is a short story from two of our characters from the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy, and it is Karoo's best friend Susanna with Mick, and I believe that it has something to do with how he proposes to her or something like that. Either way, I'm really excited. They were such fun characters. They really kept the story alive in Daughter of Smoke and Bone, just kept it real, because they're the only, like, I'm not gonna spoil you, but yes, they are two of just the most sweet and honest characters, and I'm really glad that I got this edition. There's another one that's really freaking stunning that I'm considering also buying, but look at this. Look at that naked book. Oh my gosh. Oh, and it's blue on the back. And it's Mick. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Okay, Laini Taylor, you did not have to go that hard. And look at those. And then next up is another book that I am just so hyped about, and that is gonna be Stormcaster by Cinda Williams China. This is the third book in the Shattered Realms series. I'm really not sure how many books are going to be in it. I haven't started it yet, but as you guys know, last year I started and finished the Demon King series, and this is a series that comes after that, and I've been dying to get my hands on it. I already have my hands on it. I've just been dying to read it, and I haven't been getting to it, but I feel like this is going to be my Cinda Williams China series of the year. Like last year was Demon King, this year is going to be Shattered Realms, and I just can't wait. This is the third book. I already had the first two, so when I find a cheap book for a series that I'm definitely going to read, I always buy it. Which is kind of the case for the next one, which is The Case for Jamie by Brittany Cavallaro. This is the third book in the Charlotte Holmes series. Is that what it is? Oh yeah, it's a Charlotte Holmes novel. Nice. And I have read the first two books. I really enjoyed the first two books. I was already intrigued because, oh my gosh, I'm running out of memory in my card. Let me go get a different card. I was talking about The Case for Jamie before I was so rudely interrupted by my memory card, and this is the third book in the Charlotte Holmes series. I'm really excited about this. I actually ended up loving the series way more than I thought I would. I mean, I knew I was gonna like it because I've always really enjoyed Sherlock Holmes, and just, I've never actually read them, but I've always been intrigued by them, and I've always been intrigued by the Sherlock Holmes character, and it's just so fun to see it in a YA format with their descendants, which is what these novels are about. It's about Sherlock Holmes and Jamie Watson, who are descendants of the original Sherlock and Watson. It's a really good series, and it deals with a lot of heavy topics that you normally don't get to see in YA, so that is something that I really enjoy about them as well. The next one here is one that I've actually been dying to get my hands on for the longest time and never did, and that's going to be Heartless by Marissa Meyer. It's a retelling, I believe, having to do with the Queen of Hearts in Alice in Wonderland. I think, I'm not 100% sure, I think it's her origin story, and I know that this book was raved about when it first came out. Everyone loved Heartless more than I think that they loved the Lunar Chronicles series, which Lunar Chronicles series started off very strong for me, but I actually didn't like it towards the end, and I've always been wanting to give Marissa Meyer another shot, and I know that this is just one of her most popular books. So yeah, oh my gosh. Nice. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. I think I was saying something else and I totally got distracted and lost my train of thought, so hopefully I enjoy this. This next one is actually I'm so excited that I got it. I'm so excited that it was on Book Outlet for a very, very reasonable price, because this is something that I've been wanting and dying to read ever since I read the first book last year, and that's gonna be The Crown's Fate by Evelyn Skye. This is the second book, and I believe the final book in the Crown's Game series. I'm really not sure, but I know that I loved it. The Crown's Game was so fantastic. It was actually one of my favorite books of last year and made it into my top 10 list, and it was just so good. It gave me very strong Night Circus vibes. There's a magical tournament happening between two enchanters in the first book, and they both kind of control their magic in very different ways, but they have to prove that they do it best for the king. And the last one ended in a very mysterious way, so I can't wait to see what Crown's Fate brings to the table. This next book I actually don't know much about at all. I kind of got it on a whim because I think that I read somewhere, either I followed the author on Twitter and then found out that they were already like a scientist or something along those lines, but it made me very intrigued in the fact that this person with a degree in something scientific wrote a science fiction. I thought that it would be so neat and very well written and probably well researched, and that's gonna be This Mortal Coil by Emily Suvada. If you guys know the details of it, please leave it down below for anyone that might be curious. I cannot remember. I know that if I go on Twitter right now, you know what, why don't I? She actually had tweeted about it one day where someone was bashing her book or something like that, saying that it wasn't realistic, and she's like, I have a degree in this. And I was like, whoa, okay, you badass. But she says she's into math, art, astrophysics, coding, aliens, cyborgs, and puppies, which, what else do you need to know to buy her book? So I got This Mortal Coil simply for that reason. I actually don't know any of the details about it. I just know it's a sci-fi. I tend to really enjoy sci-fis, so I'm excited to get into it. Two more books in the Book Outlet section, and that's gonna be Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. This is a continuation of her story from Kiss of Deception, from what I understand. I think it's the princess of the characters that were in the Kiss of Deception trilogy. I'm really not positive. I just know that it's a continuation. I didn't love how the Kiss of Deception series ended. I thought that the last book just dragged so much, but I've actually been hearing nothing but good things about Dance of Thieves, so I can't wait to see how Mary E. Pearson has improved on her writing and just her prose, and I really did like the world a lot, and I'm curious to see just how it's continued on in the time that we've been away from the story. And the last book that I acquired from Book Outlet is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Yes, I do own this book. No, I don't own the US editions, and I want the US editions just as much as I liked the UK. The UK are obviously the superior ones. You're gonna tell me this isn't better than this, but that doesn't mean that the US ones suck. They're actually still really stunning, and I love the Muse of Nightmares one. So when I saw this for a good price, I just couldn't help but buy it. If you didn't know, Strange the Dreamer is about a boy, or a man, named Laszlo Strange, who is obsessed with this lost city of Weep. Yet it wasn't always named Weep, and he didn't always remember it as Weep, but some time ago, out of nowhere, every single person that had originally known the true name of Weep lost it from their memories and could only remember Weep. He's just very intrigued by this place, and when a convoy comes saying that they need an expert for the city of Weep, he's the only one with enough knowledge to go. And it is just such a fantastic story. That is only a summary of the very beginning. You haven't even gotten to the juicy bits of Strange the Dreamer. This is such a hard book to explain, but it's written so beautifully. Laini Taylor is a magician with words. You guys have to read it. I understand it's not everyone's cup of tea, but if you do like very beautiful prose and lyrical writing and gorgeous quotes and beautiful scenery and very atmospheric content, you're gonna like Strange the Dreamer. It might be a little slow, but it's worth it. The next two books I actually got in like hangover kits, like so the book were coming out and they had boxes for them on, you know, websites. And that's gonna be King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. This is the special edition that came in a Lumicrates box, so instead of being black in the back and gold in the front, it's gold in the back and black in the front, if that made any sense. And yeah, this is a book about Nikolai, who was a privateer of sorts in the Grisha trilogy. I have not actually picked it up yet. I want to reread the Grisha trilogy and maybe even Six of Crows before I get to King of Scars. I feel like I need a better idea of the world. I have forgotten so much about it. If any of you have been watching my Fairy Loot unboxings, then you know I literally cannot remember the characters' names in Six of Crows. It is terrible. So I definitely want to read it before I get to King of Scars. All I know is it's about Nikolai, and I'm pretty sure Zoya's in it, and so is Nina, so that's interesting. And this next one is a second copy of a book that I already bought, but you know, this series is a very, very close one to my heart, and so I don't mind having a million copies of it. And that's gonna be The Wicked King by Holly Black. I am obsessed. This is just... they're actually different. So the one with Barnes & Noble, it's a white background with like the turquoisey metallics, and this is a black background with a very pretty green metallic. So I'm glad that I got both copies. And I got a signed book plate and this cute little bookmark with like stuff written by Holly Black on it, so I'm glad that I got a second copy. So if you didn't know, if you've been living under a rock, The Wicked King is the sequel to Cruel Prince, which is this just enticing, awful story about a human girl, or two human girls really, in the Fae realm and how awfully they're treated. And it is full of gray characters and secret plots and mystery and cruelty, and it's just so fantastic. Cardon is life, even though he sucks, and Jude is also life, even though she also sucks. So do what you will with that information. And this next book I actually got in a unplugged book box, and that is going to be Spectacle by Jody Lynn Zidoruk. Zidoruk? I don't know how to pronounce it. Z-D-R-O-K. I believe that this story has to do with a girl who dreams of murders. Like, she dreams as though she is the murderer herself and she is murdering girls, and when she wakes up she finds out that that is a true murder that happens, and she has to find the killer before it's too late, before he murders her, I believe is how the ending would go. It's set in Paris in 1887, so I feel like it's gonna be very atmospheric, very old school, and I kind of love that in a mystery because it adds a lot more mystery to it. There's so many technological advances with, you know, crime scenes and everything that when you read it from nowadays, it's sort of too easy, but in the 1800s, what did they have? Just, you know, really lucky guesses. This next book I actually got in a Fairy Loot box, and I still haven't read it, which is so frustrating to me because I was so excited when I got it. Not only is it a stunning book, but the plot just captured my attention, and that's gonna be Circle of Shadows by Evelyn Skye. I was also insanely excited because this is Evelyn Skye, and I love The Crown's Game. That was my favorite book of not my favorite. That was one of my favorite books of last year. So this has to be fantastic, and look just how stunning that dusty lavender color is. I'm very, very intrigued. This has to do with two warrior friends that are trained in the fighting arts to protect the kingdom of Kitchener, and they discover this plot happening and they have to go undercover, and there's so much mystery and it might split them apart in the end, is for what I remember. I can't remember perfectly, I'm sorry, but it has to do with friendship and, you know, probably death. I'm not sure. I'm so terrible. Okay, I'm sorry. Ooh, this next book I actually did read, surprising, and that's gonna be The Devouring Grey by Christine Lynn Herman. I enjoyed this so, so much. I won't go too into the details because I'll definitely be talking about it in my wrap-up, but I just really, really loved this. I actually received this copy in collaboration with a paid promotion that I did, and that's up on my channel if you want to see my devouring vlog. It's super fun. I just kind of look through some content that this has been related to, because it has been related to The Raven Boys, Stranger Things, and Riverdale. It has bits and pieces of all those, and I can definitely see that it did in the story. It is so mysterious, so very YA and cliche in some ways. There's like cursing in this, which I feel like is the perfect twist we needed, because this felt a lot like the old school urban fantasies that were like witchy in this like witchy town, but there was cursing, and I feel like that didn't used to be a thing at all in YA, and I loved having it in this. So it was absolutely fantastic. I really, really enjoyed this, and I highly recommend it if you are into urban fantasy and mystery and any of those other things that I mentioned. The next two books I got in another Fairy Loot box, and that's gonna be Isle of Storm and Sorrow, Viper. I think Isles of Storm and Sorrow is the series name, and this one is called Viper, and look how freaking gorgeous this book is. I'm very into it. It has to do with pirates and knowing right from wrong, and just being able to stand up to your family even when you know it's the hard thing to do, which sounds fantastic. Honestly, I was caught by the pirates and the cover, so. And the next one is To Best the Boys by Mary Weber. This is also a very stunning book, and so it's an esteemed scholarship to enter a college, and it's only boys that are allowed to enter in the competition to receive this scholarship. But this girl wants to go to college, and she is trying to find a way to sneak her name into the list of people eligible to make it through the labyrinth, and she has to dress up as a boy while she does it. So obviously there's going to be some shenanigans, some close calls, some very interesting science stuff, because that is what she wants to study, and I'm intrigued, you know, labyrinths and stuff. Labyrinths really freak me out ever since Goblet of Fire, so that's all I'm gonna say. This next book I got in the Adult Unplugged book box, and that's going to be The Last by Hannah Jameson. This is an apocalyptic novel, so it's in the apocalypse. This man is stuck in this like old school house, and there is a murder that happens, and he has to decide whether he wants to stay in the house, potentially with a murderer, or try and make it in the apocalypse outside. But there's also a twist, because his wife, I believe, yes, his wife sent him a letter that he never responded to, and it's something that has been on his mind ever since the apocalypse started. The next one was also in an unplugged box, but this was the YA box of April, and that is going to be Sky Without Stars by Jessica Brody and Joanne Rendell. This is actually a Les Miserables retelling, so that's actually very interesting, because I've always wanted to read Les Miserables, but it's very intimidating. Not like this isn't, because it's freaking huge. But it just seems very interesting. The next 4 books I actually got at Barnes & Noble, and I took a video while I was there doing some book shopping. That's actually in my last vlog, my weekend reading vlog, so go check that out if you want to see me picking these books out. It was very quick, actually. So the first one is going to be Defy Me by Tahada Mafi. This is the latest book in the Shatter Me series, and I'm so excited about it. I still need to read the novella that she came out with recently, like a few months ago. I still need to read that and then read Defy Me, because I love this series, guys. Shatter Me has a very special place in my heart. I know that it's not amazing, but I still love it. It is a dystopian novel about a girl with powers, and no one can touch her, and she can't touch anyone, and she just basically kills anyone she touches. This is the summary of the first book, and it has grown so much since then, and I just... yes. I also went ahead and got a collector's edition of a series that I have already read, but they just came out with this collector's edition and I needed it, and that's going to be A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. Look how pretty it is. It's just rose gold. I love it. I'm really, really excited about this. I'm not going to be rereading it in this format. I don't think there's, besides like I'm going to look through it because there's a little bit of special content like that, but I don't believe there's that much extra to it. I just really wanted the pretty dust jacket, I guess. And then I also got another V.E. Schwab book, and that's gonna be Vengeful. I am so excited about this. I read Vicious a few months ago, and I loved Vicious, and I just didn't have the I didn't have the money at the time to pick up Vengeful, and now I finally bought it, and I'm really, really excited to see how Victor and Eli's story progresses. I know that this one includes a lot more just badass young women, and I can't wait to see how they take over the story, because who cares about the males when you have some really cool girls? And if you didn't know, Vicious is about sort of like a couple of anti-heroes. Victor and Eli were college roommates, and they discovered that there's a way to get superpowers. They tested on themselves, and they get superpowers in a way. But it just changes the entire course of both of their lives. Victor ends up in jail, and Eli ends up a hero, and their stories just are not as they seem. Oh, look at this chunker of a book. I'm so excited to finally have my hands on this. I have wanted this book ever since I saw the ARC. I wanted the ARC so badly. I didn't get approved for it. It's okay, because now I have this behemoth of a baby in my hands, and it's The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I'm so excited to finally have this. It is stunning, and I've heard fabulous, fabulous things about the story. A lot of people say it's pretty slow, but that it just builds so well, and I just can't wait to see for myself. I actually don't know much about this. I only know it's a fantasy, and that's kind of all you need to tell me most of the time when it comes to fat books. You're like, oh, but it's a fantasy, and I'll be like, oh, okay, I'll read it then. You don't have to tell me anything else. So, also I'm pretty sure there's dragons. It's on the cover, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Alright, and then the last book that I have here today is actually one that I got in this month's Fairy Loot box, and that's gonna be Nocturna by Maya Motaine. I really don't know how to say her last name. Maya Motaine, Maya Motaine, I'm not sure. And this book, I want to read it right away. It has to do with a girl that's a phase shifter and a prince, and I believe their fates collide in some way, and yeah, I don't know much more about it. I just know it's Latinx inspired, and that was really exciting for me as well. And it's just so stunning, guys. I cannot get over how beautiful this book is and how they changed it. The actual original copy of this is red and gold, and I vastly prefer the blue and gold, so thank you, Fairy Loot. Alright, that was all the books. It only took me a half an hour to talk about them all. So yeah, I was supposed to get this video up today, but you're probably going to be seeing it on Friday, so sorry about that, my loves. But I really hope you enjoyed this. If you need any more information, again, look in the description bar and follow the link and just read those summaries. I'm sorry, I'm awful at giving summaries when I do book hauls. It's just there's so many books and I get really overwhelmed. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye! I don't know how I'm supposed to lift these books up for a picture. Oh god, there's a whole other side. What's his last name? Nikolai? Oh, I have to still do the picture. Okay. Okay. Okay, we can do this. I can try to like just stack them all up into one. I don't even know how to put this down. That's how you put it down. I definitely hurt my head.